Hey Brian, how you doing? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Great. I'm glad that you're with me and Destino. I really wanted to talk to you about the work that you've done on one of your recent projects, Bullet Time, which was released not long ago. So would you be able to
Yeah,
start with your name and what you did for this project?
yeah, definitely. I'm Brian Cooper, and for this project, I was the one of the layout artists for it, and
Yeah.
character design slash layout artist. With this job, I came in kind of like mid production, basically.
Yeah.
So the a lot of the hard work has been kind of done already, but like the style of the show and kind of where they wanted it to go and everything had already been established. Like the character designs were already kind of done,
Yeah.
and the script was all ready to go and everything. And so they just brought me on to help with cleaning up some of the storyboards. So
Sure.
uh, yeah, so it was just it was an awesome experience to get to have, and just such a cool time to get to do it. It was actually my first production that I actually got to work on like professionally,
Right.
and it was a wild one to get to start with for sure. But yeah,
Yeah, no, it was great to see your name in the credits. And
yeah.
how was that experience for you on day one of starting on this project? Like, what kind of questions do you have for these producers or whoever is inviting you to join?
Yeah, so well, basically, just to kind of start out, like they just kind of contacted me through email one day,
Yeah,
because I had actually been posting on my Instagram.
yeah,
I was doing a bunch of fan art things for Halloween,
right.
and I did a Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th drawing in like a really cartoony style. And I guess they thought that the style fit really well with what they were going for.
Yeah,
And so then they reached out to me in an email and asked me if I wanted to jump on. And so yeah, what the producer Javier Lovato, he contacted me and he wanted to schedule a call with me to see if I'd be interested in doing it. So I definitely jumped on, and we got talking and just talked about the style of the show. Basically, they were going for that 90s cartoon aesthetic from like Nickelodeon and stuff,
yeah.
which is I love that style. Like you don't get to see that very often anymore.
No.
And so yeah, so I was so super on board and super excited, just asking him about, what the expectations were for me, like what kind of work I would be doing for him and stuff. And so yeah, he just kind of explained to me, yeah, you're just gonna be cleaning up the storyboards because we have the storyboards all done already, and we just need you to put the characters on model. And so they sent me all the character designs that they had and like the backgrounds, and so I can get a sense of how everything looked already.
Yeah,
And then they sent me the script and stuff so I can kind of understand where we're going with it. And so, yeah, I was able to look over all that stuff. And I spent like a couple of days just like trying to hone in on this style because it
true.
was like a little bit like out of my comfort zone because you don't see that style as often anymore, which is it's so cool though. Like I love it so much. And it was just like a bunch of practice over and over, just making sure I could draw a bullet
Yeah,
uh, so you can be consistent throughout all of the scenes and everything. But if you've seen the short, he does get pretty exaggerated. Like he
yeah,
goes
he does.
stretches like squash and stretches and just does crazy expressions and stuff. So so it was a great challenge, but it was so much fun to get to learn how to do. And so yeah, they would send me the scenes, basically the storyboard scenes, and it's basically like with storyboards, they're just taking like the extreme keyframes basically of extreme actions of each scene. So like if he's playing the video game, he like has his arms up here, down here, and they're basically just going to draw those two extreme poses. And so I would just go in and make sure that it looked like Bullet every time. So in
Right.
every scene, it looked like him. And so uh yeah, so I would just get to, and then but there was also some scenes where it didn't look like him totally. Like there's a scene where he gets extremely huge and like buff.
Yeah, I saw that.
And yeah, so like you have to like be able to still recognize that it's him, but like in an extreme version. And so it was a lot of fun to get to draw that kind of a thing. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean it's very telling of your talent as well. I mean, I've seen a lot of your work. I follow you on Instagram, and we've collaborated on something too. But
yeah,
yeah, to be able to jump on a project midway and just to zero in on the style that's already been established,
yeah.
yeah, that's got to be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it was so fun. It's like because there's times when as a character designer you get to start from the ground floor and you
Yeah,
get to kind of create the style. But this is a different thing too because it's such a you get to jump into somebody else's design and somebody else's mind and creation. Like Eddie, like he had this whole story planned out already. He had everything, the style that he wanted and everything.
yeah,
And so I got to come in and like draw that same style, and it's a cool challenge to get to have because it just stretches your boundaries. You kind of jump out of your comfort zone, and then you just expand and obviously get better as an artist.
yeah,
Like one of the best things about this job, especially it being my first one, was you send your drawings in to these people who have been working in animation since like the 90s, right?
yeah,
And they're looking at your drawings and they're giving you feedback on them. And so you're learning so much just out the gate because they're just constantly sending you feedback or like letting you know what you're doing wrong, letting you know what you're doing right. And so that's such a positive thing because like a lot of people when they show like their friends or family or whatever their art, they're kind of everybody's like, oh yeah, that looks great, but you don't really know if they're
yeah,
telling you the truth, right?
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's so cool to have somebody who's so much professional, like so much expertise in it for so long to like give you like feedback, and you just learn so much from that. And I feel like I got to learn so much from the whole crew when they did draw. Like they would either send you like drawovers of
Yeah,
stuff, or they would send you like notes, and so you got to interpret those drawovers or interpret the notes and just make your adjustments where needed,
yeah,
like if anatomy was messed up or something didn't look like bullet like it's supposed to, they would let you know. And so it was just such a like a almost like a boot camp type learning experience because you're like also on a deadline, but
yeah,
you have to get this stuff going. Yeah. So it was very stressful, but it was such a good stress. Like it's such a good experience to
Oh yeah.
dive into. Yeah.
And you're going to be taking this whole experience of what you've done here to the next project. And like you
Yeah.
kind of grew as an artist, which is, I mean, something that I can take away from the work that I do is always just being around other artists to be able to
Yeah.
get, like you said, that perspective outside of your own and also to see other people's reactions to your work so that way
Mhm.
you could either enhance it or just make those small tweaks that really make a difference.
Yeah, totally. That's the coolest thing is like it's like you want to be around people who are like I always like to want to be around people who are better than me.
Right.
So like
Yeah.
that you can just like get to their level and like learn so much from each other and grow with each other. It's
Right.
such a cool experience, yeah. That's the coolest part about working in animation, I think.
What would you say
Yeah.
was one of the memorable panels or drawings that you were able to produce for Bullet Time?
I think my favorite one that was probably the one I was telling you about, like, where he got super buff and big.
Yeah,
Like it was just such an extreme drawing, and like it just kind of really gives you like the sense of what the show is going to be like. Like
exactly.
just
It's so
how
tangible.
extreme.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so like he's just like because you look at him and he's like this like scrawny kind of weird looking dog, and then like all of a sudden he just turns into this big massive big massive guy,
yeah.
and it was just such a fun scene to get to draw. I
Uh,
loved it.
I enjoyed the work
Yeah.
you guys did on the gorilla interviewer
Oh
at the
yeah.
end, and he was just so like larger than life too. So yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that scene too, where he like is popping through the doorway and like
Yeah.
just has this extreme stretch on him, and he has just such a good expressive face. He was such a fun character to get to draw too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really like the that you guys used a lot of the features that make animation so like crazy and
Yeah.
so fun to watch. So and a lot of that was taken to another level for this show. So that was really cool to
Yeah.
be able to watch.
Yeah, it's really cool. And like, I think just it's so cool that they did, it was like mostly everything was hand drawn. Like it was
Yeah,
all
you could
the whole
tell.
thing. And it was just so refreshing to get to see.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was just I was so lucky to get to be on this project.
Yeah.
It was just so cool. Yeah.
And I'll share the link down below for this for that video. That way
Yeah.
people can watch it.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I'd love to segue into the work that you do over at Smokescreen. Would you be
Mhm.
able to tell us about that brand and what you do there?
Yeah, definitely. So Smokescreen, it's kind of like it's called a bridge studio, basically. It's one of the
Okay.
first of its kind. And so basically what we do is we help people create like pilots for their ideas that they have. Like
Awesome.
so I've been able to work on a couple of different pilots for different ideas that people have had, and I get to be like a character design on that. So I'm like starting from the ground level on those ones. So
Yeah.
like I'm helping create the characters and flesh them out from what the creator had in mind. And so I get to do all these different iterations of the same character, and that's such a fun exploration to get to have. And so yeah, we create those, or if another studio needs help with some animation stuff, they'll also send it to the studio as well. And so it's such a cool studio to get to work for. It's created by Chris and Chase Wemberly. They're both brothers, and like they've both been working in the animation business for a long time, and they both have done such cool things with for animation already. And so to just like again to get to work with somebody who's been in the business for such a long time and has so much skills and talents to give out to all of us uh, is such a cool thing because like basically what they want to focus on is giving voices to or opportunities to people who are more marginalized and don't get
Yeah.
as much opportunity to be in the creative space as a lot of other a lot of other places like there's so many big studios and it's such a competitive um, place to get to work into that
True.
it's really awesome that Smokescreen exists and gives people like me who hasn't had a lot of experience
Yeah.
to actually give me hands-on production experience because I've been able to work on like a whole handful of projects and got so much experience from doing that, and I'm going to get to fill up my portfolio with so many cool things and stuff. And so that studio it's just been such a cool, lucky experience for me to get to have so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very good, like, awesome place to just work at and be around other creatives. How
Yeah.
did you get tied with those guys?
Yeah, so they were just starting they were starting out, and they opened up they put it out on Twitter basically back in
Oh,
a few years ago, and they had some people just send in some submissions and stuff.
cool.
And so I just I was like, I don't know if I'll get this. I'll just throw my hat in hoping to see.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then and I didn't hear anything back for a minute, but then I heard then they started emailing me, and I was pretty shocked. I
Hmm.
was so excited because yeah, Chris wanted to meet up with me, and so we had a couple of Zoom calls,
Yeah.
and then I got to get started with them, and it was just so cool. I got to start out with a bunch of other artists who like also didn't haven't had as much experience as everybody else, but we also had some people who had experience, and so we got to learn from those people and just bounce off each other, and it's been such a cool experience. Like it's just like the best way to grow is just with so many other people. Yeah, it's just such a cool, lucky place to be at.
And as far as your style goes, what are some of the influences that you looked to early on?
Um, yeah, so I was always obsessed with like Disney movies, of course, like
Yeah.
every animator or artist wants to be, And so like really the older stuff like from Mark Davis, he's like one of the original Walt Disney animators. He was always my favorite because he just did really expressive, like kind of exaggerated drawings and stuff. And
Right.
then I kind of got into like comic books and stuff too, like looking at those. And there's just so many different talented people like Scotty Young. He did like I Hate Fairyland and stuff. Like he has such a cool cartoony style as well, and so that really influenced me. Um, I think probably one of the people who influenced me the most is that it's like two artists. It's the Creature Box is what they're called if you look them up on Instagram.
What do you do to practice kind of like to keep that muscle and like drawing skills going? What do you do to practice?
For practice, there's so many things like you gotta as an artist, you want to do the fun stuff, but you also kind of got to do like the stuff that's a little more boring, a little more
Yeah,
like you got to practice like perspective drawing. You got to make sure you can draw circles, and doing all those kind of things. And like you got to do a lot, like bunch of figure drawing and timed figure drawing and all that stuff.
right,
But I do think it's important as well to do that stuff, but it's also important to find stuff that you just find really fun.
right.
So I always love like drawing spooky like Halloween type art. And I get a lot of inspiration from that. So just taking time to do something really fun, but also taking the time to do those basic things, those foundational things is
Yeah.
also so important. Yeah.
Well, when you
Um,
do get a chance to do the character development for a creator, what are the types of things that you need from them so that you can deliver, let's say, like the character design?
yeah, so basically when you they're gonna like give you a script. Like at least from my experience so far, they give you like this script, you can kind of read through it and you get a sense of what the character is, or they'll give you like a synopsis of each character.
Okay.
Like they'll tell you like what kind of like clothes they wear or like what kind of style they are,
Yeah.
like if they're what kind of things they're into basically. And then from there, you just kind of have to start playing around with different designs. So like when you submit them, you want to submit like I get to submit like maybe 4 or 5 different variations of the same character.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, so you like want to look up different things like different style, like different
Sure.
like costume designs for a different character.
Yeah.
Um, you also want to think about like what ethnicity they are and like what their cultural background is. And so you can kind of like make sure you represent them well. And so you just draw all these different variations of that same person. And which can be a challenge because you're trying to get hone in on this one thing,
Right.
and you want to make each variation different enough. So, and then a lot of times they'll when you submit them, they'll come back and want to just like Frankenstein some of those
Yeah.
different ideas together. And so it's really like a cool collaborative process between you and the art director and the creator of the show
Yeah.
is you get to kind of flesh out this character even more so than just what was written. Like it can turn into something even more than what they originally thought the character could have been, or some people want it to be exactly the way they want it to be, and that's cool too. Like it's just fun to get to explore like different personalities or different things that you don't even know that much about sometimes, and you get to learn so much about different people and different backgrounds of people and different fashion senses and stuff. It's just really cool to get to do that.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
part of the process. And I mean, I
Yeah.
enjoy that part as well. And I bring it up because the dream is to have you draw Vallero one day. But
Yeah.
I do, imagine that being where, I do have a sense of who this character is, but not until like somebody like you is able to draw him and lay him out on paper that I'm able to really see exactly who that character is. And do I picture that illustration doing the action or doing the dialogue that I have?
Mhm.
And that way, yeah, it's very team effort to get it to the point where we're both happy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so fun just to collaborate with somebody and like to get to flesh out the character together. It makes it really exciting.
Yeah,
Just to like see it really come to life because like you can have it on paper of what a character is, but once you like flesh it out into like a real drawing, it kind of comes to life a lot more.
yeah,
And then you can kind of like alter it, however it needs to be to make that character who it is. And that's just such a fun, cool process to get to be a part of.
yeah. And especially
Yeah.
there's so many styles out there, and then to be able to
Yeah.
really just choose one that you really connect with. And then also, I always like to start building out all the secondary characters to build out like that whole cast of cartoon characters.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually yeah, a very fun part to get to be a part of. Like to do is just to see the different array of characters that you can have within the same world,
True.
and to draw them and like make sure that they all fit the same world, but they're all
Yeah.
different from each other, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it just makes that character like the main character just so much more when you have these other supporting characters to play off of.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just builds that world. It's so fun.
So, how did you actually get started? I don't know your story. I just realized.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so when I was really young,
Yeah.
I always looked up to my brother, and I
Okay.
always just wanted to be as cool as he was. And so he was like he drew a lot of times, you know. And
Yeah.
so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start drawing too. Like I want to be like that, you know, because I always thought it was cool how he would draw stuff. And
Yeah.
so I started drawing a lot, and then I just got really into it doing that. And luckily had really supportive family, really supportive parents who supported my hobby. And so I just kept drawing. They would get me like books to, I used to do those like how to draw Disney characters
Yeah,
books. Those,
exactly.
yeah. And so I used to just draw those all the time and trying to get those down and just kept going and going. Um, and then yeah, I just decided like I always wanted to be like an animator,
Yeah,
like
same.
to just yeah, to just that 2D, the Disney style that they would do, and it was just such a cool thing to get to think of to do. But then, it kind of happens where they kind of stop doing 2D as
Yeah.
much, and so I had to like think about like what do I want to do with this now? And so I like that I was trying to figure out like do I want to like maybe go into comic books? So I kind of like went into like comic book character drawings and stuff and try to hone in on that kind of a style. And then I was like, well, you could still draw for animation and like it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be an animator. You can be like a character designer, which is a really fun part to get to do. So I went towards that and just started really honing in and learning about what that takes to be a character designer. So
Yeah.
you look to other people who are already in the industry, and you talk to them and ask them like what kind of things that you can do to get to that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, like luckily, like everybody's just so cool in our community. Like you ask somebody a question, and like if they, obviously people get busy, but a lot of them will take the time to talk to you and
Right.
give you like tips and advice on where to go, what to do. And it's always just so it's like it's so scary to reach out to people, especially if they have like a huge following or whatever. But like I know you just do it. If you
Yeah.
like, it's just it's so helpful to have all these other people just to to help you up on your way. And so
Yeah.
yeah, just reaching out to them, and then I was able to hone in on my portfolio, my style, and and that's what's gotten me to these other jobs.
Yeah, no, and it's true. It goes along with what you said earlier that, even people at that level enjoy the camaraderie and to be around other artists. And it doesn't really matter what level anybody is at. I mean, to be able to get that feedback and to be able to get that collaboration somehow, it's always beneficial no matter what.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I just love the whole collaboration aspect of art is just it's such a cool community to be a part of. And
Yeah.
I imagine like in like the productions that you're a part of, there's like it seems like there's this crazy collaboration, like because you seem like you're all in person and like are
Yeah.
working together and like that seems like such a cool environment to get to be a part of.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, I'm the only graphic designer on staff, so there's no one else that I kind of work off of. But I do get to
Okay.
work part of a art department, and they're always around me to kind of give me either instruction or feedback or whatever it is. But it is very cool to be able to engage with the writer of the episode, let's say, or any of
Yeah.
the producers and to be able to get that reaction from them or those notes from them in person, to me, it was very beneficial to work in that environment as opposed to like working from home. because I do get a lot more inspiration when I get to watch the show, the rehearsal in person, and then I can kind of see it in my head of what we have to do or whatever it is. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of fun to be around those people.
Yeah, I imagine such a cool way to get to do that is to get to like be in the environment and like get
Yeah.
to work off of that. That's really cool. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, that's awesome.
Well, when I got to do my comic book, I finally was able to start collaborating with other artists, which was the like the funnest part of it for me.
Yeah,
Like you said, I was able to reach out to artists that I was actually fans of and then kind of get them to either be on board or to collaborate as far as ideas go. And
yeah.
yeah, that's something that I don't normally get to do, but now that I have, I really like to be able, for example, that I got to connect with you, and I have
Yeah.
a catalog of other people that I turn to this day. But how do
Mhm.
you network, or how do you build your kind of support?
Yeah, it's basically with connecting, it's all been through for me, like it's all been through just social media, Instagram mostly.
Yeah,
Like I kind of got on Instagram back when it was a little better. And to be honest with you, like it was a lot easier to get exposure a few years ago. But so I was lucky to be on it in that time and like posting consistently.
yeah,
Um, and so yeah, I think just as you like, I think a lot of people, and for me especially initially, I was so afraid to ever post art online.
right.
It's like kind of vulnerable and it's kind of scary because you're scared
Yeah,
that people are gonna like dog on you or something for it or whatever. But like people are actually a lot cooler than we think, and if you post it, it's just it just takes like the right person to see it, the right people and like the right people to connect with you too, like so you can and like you can get so many people's eyes on your work and then they'll talk to you about it. Like they'll even give you feedback and stuff
right,
and then just like also doing the opposite where you're going online and you're looking at different artists and stuff and you're like commenting and liking their posts and I think that just builds that kind of connection together. And I've been able to connect with so many different people. Like I'm also really interested in like the theme park world,
yeah,
and so yeah, so like I've made a lot of connections through the theme park just by drawing like theme park art. I've been able to
sure.
connect with some really cool people. Like I also work for a t-shirt company called or a apparel company called Roosevelt's,
Okay.
and yeah, and I do freelance design for them. And it's basically I get to get paid to do fan art all the time, which is so awesome. But
Yeah.
like they're kind of really heavy into the theme park space,
Okay.
and so like I just think you just have to. I think you have to post things that you really enjoy. Like even if you don't think like you don't always have to make art for other people. You can if you make it for yourself. I just feel like there's people that are going to connect with it in the right way. And uh so with like I said with the theme park stuff, like I was drawing it just because I loved it and I thought it was
Yeah.
fun and it inspires me. And so I got to make a connection with people, the right people to get me to get a job at Roosevelt or freelance opportunities at Roosevelt's. And yeah, so I get to work with people who are like my bot like art director boss, his name is Andrew Stonecipher. He's like incredible artist, and again just somebody I get to show my work to and he gives me feedback on it because he's done countless designs that are amazing for Universal Studios Florida.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's like I always have always a dream of mine to get to do something like that, but I get to work directly with the person that did that,
Sure.
and now I get to work in this company with them. So I just think, yeah, just post the things that you like to draw, like
Yeah.
what you want to do, like, and I just think people will connect with it, and the right people will connect with you, and that those are the best way to make those connections and to network with people.
Yeah, I mean, like the Halloween art you mentioned was what got you in front of the Bullet Time production,
Exactly.
which is like it's so interesting that you would never thought like, oh, you're posting this, and then it would land you there. But
Yeah.
I mean, I became a fan of yours just because you were so consistent, and I was seeing your growth from like post to post, and to be able to see that. And then when we got to collaborate, it was great to even just to see the way that you illustrate my character and see the version of it in your eyes too.
Yeah, yeah, it's just it's so cool to just like I think that's just like a really important thing is just like the consistency part, you know? Just like consistently working towards something, consistently posting it and then I would like just like how we got to connect. It was such a cool opportunity. And like I think also it's interesting like you have to have other hobbies outside of art too, so you have to like kind of
Yeah.
fill up your creative bank account with other things. Like I think the first way that you and I connected was because like I saw you going to the gym at Warner Brothers, and I
Yeah.
commented to you, and like so because I love working out and stuff, and so I think there's no other ways besides just posting art to connect with people, and I think such a cool thing to like that it can circle back around to your art and to
Yeah.
connecting you to the people. Yeah.
Well, what advice would you give like your younger self or any up and comers or people that are inspired to start this journey?
Uh, I honestly think that it's a, you just have to just have fun with it. You want to have fun, you have to be consistent, but you have to find ways to make that fun. I
Yeah.
feel like there was a time when younger trying to make it into this industry and it became like this grind and I wasn't having any fun anymore. And I feel like my art was suffering at that point. So I feel like everybody needs to be able to find that balance of fun and like, but also making progress and like, getting better at it.
True.
And yeah, so like just pushing past that point of just finding it where it's fun, but also where you're enjoying yourself at the same time. I think that's so important. And I also think it's really important to surround yourself with the right people.
That's
I
exactly.
like I said, I was lucky to have a great family, great parents who always have been supportive
Yeah.
of my hobby and my desire to make it in this industry. And I think that was just so important. And but some people aren't so lucky to have like a supportive family like that. So you have to create your own. You can find people online or like me. Also, I'm very lucky to have extremely supportive wife, like a partner who has been so supportive of everything from the day one. And like I even like because you're gonna go through hard days when you're trying to make
Yeah,
it
exactly.
to do anything, and to have somebody who's there to support you, whether it's your partner or it's like friends or whatever that you can turn to and rely on. Like my wife's so supportive and I can rely on her to help me through anything, and so I'm just really lucky to have somebody like that or people in my life that support you because some days it gets tough, but other people can lift you up and help you get there.
Yeah, it's true. And
So
I mean, just to add to that, from my personal experience, I was the same way where I was struggling and it started to become work for me and I
yeah,
wasn't having fun anymore. But a lot of the people that were like in my network or my mentors, let's say, a lot of them, it just took a conversation with them about, what how they got through it. And then
yeah,
a lot of the times it's just taking a break and to give yourself like that breathing room and not to put a timeline on things because that was my issue early on too, the saying like, okay, in a year I have to be doing this, and it was very stressful and it wasn't fun anymore.
totally. Yeah, I get that. It totally feels like there's like a timeline sometimes, like a
Yeah.
deadline that you have to hit.
Mhm.
But like it doesn't. There's no. You just have to make your progress as you can.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work the same way for everybody, and sometimes your timeline isn't exactly the way you want it to be. But if you keep consistent with it, it can happen at some point. And so yeah, and then having the people to reach out to for support is just is so nice and important. Uh, and then yeah, like you said, just finding the fun. You gotta find the fun. You gotta take the break. You take a break, like you said. Like one of my managers, he says that you gotta sharpen your axe, basically, like so you can
Yeah.
come back and be ready to work again. You just gotta take some time off or take a walk outside or something, you know? Yeah, really important stuff.
Well, thank you, Brian. I'm really happy that we had this chat and we are able to talk about you and all the work you've done. And congratulations on your work.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. It's awesome talking with you.
Yeah, and I hope that we get to work on something soon.
For sure. Yeah, me too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.